Biological classification helps in studying wide variety of organisms and their interrelationship. Once upon a time, all living things were lumped together into two kingdoms, namely plants and animals. In the year 1750, a famous botanist, Carl Linnaeus, developed the method of binomial nomenclature and grouped different types of species present on the planet Earth into two kingdoms, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia included every living thing that moved, ate, and grew to a certain size and died after completing its lifespan. Kingdom Plantae included every living thing that did not move or eat and that continued to grow throughout life. It became very difficult to group certain living things into one or the other. This is the reason that the two kingdoms were expanded into 5 kingdoms. So today, we will learn about 5 kingdoms classification. A third kingdom, Protista, was proposed by German zoologist E. H. Haeckel in 1866 to account for the microscopic unicellular organisms. Biological classification is the method of putting organisms into different groups. But this was not successful, as it could not distinguish between eukaryotes and prokaryotes, unicellular and multicellular, and photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms. In the year 1969, a scientist named R. H. Whitaker divided organisms into 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. The 5-kingdom classification is based on cell structure, cellular organization, mode of nutrition, mode of reproduction, etc. Kingdom Monera. All the organisms of this kingdom are prokaryotes. Monerans are considered as the most primitive group of organisms. Monerans are classified in a domain named Prokaryota based on the Greek words pro, which means before, and karyota, which means nucleus, as membrane-bound nucleus is absent in these organisms. Monerans are small and the simplest of all living things. This group contains members with both modes of nutrition, autotrophs as well as heterotrophs. Monerans, which mainly comprises bacteria, are the only living organisms on the earth that can carry out nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is a process of combining atmospheric nitrogen with other elements to form useful compounds. In nature, majority of nitrogen is fixed by some microorganisms which are part of this kingdom. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria and algae use nitrogen gas to make ammonium compounds. These compounds are absorbed by plants, and this way it reaches to us. These prokaryotes include aquatic organisms such as cyanobacteria, free-living soil bacteria such as Azotobacter, bacteria that form symbiotic relationships with plants, such as Azospirillum and Rhizobium. Here you see some more members of kingdom Monera. Anabaena and Nostoc represent group of cyanobacteria, which is commonly known as blue-green algae. Here are some more members from bacterial world. Streptococcus, E. coli, Mycoplasma, etc. One of the main benefits of bacteria is that they are the major decomposers of dead plants and animals. This returns atoms from these dead plants and animals into ecosystems where they can be used once again. Kingdom Protista. All protozoa, zooplankton and phytoplankton come under this group. Planktons are typically tiny organisms found drifting near the surface in water bodies. Protists have characteristics of both plants and animals. Like plants, many species of protists can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Euglena is one such example that has chloroplasts and makes its own food by photosynthesis. Like animals, many protists are capable of moving around. Amoeba moves by forming pseudopodia, and Paramecium swims rapidly using hundreds of cilia present on body membrane. If it has to slow down, it reduces the speed of its movement in cilia. But unlike plants and animals, however, protists do not have cells organized into specialized tissues. Means one cell behaves as an organism. So we can say that most protists are unicellular and can only be seen with a microscope, although there are some that are composed of more than one cell, like colonial volvox, Filamentous pyrogyra. Diatoms are also included in this kingdom. Diatoms are unicellular. Their cell wall or shell is made up of two overlapping halves. These are impregnated with silica and often beautifully ornamented. They are responsible for nearly 40% of the photosynthesis that occurs in fresh water and in the oceans. Few well-known examples of protists are as follows: Paramecium, Vorticella, Trypanosoma, amoeba. Trichonympha remains in the gut of termite and help in digesting cellulose. Kingdom Fungi. The members of this kingdom are multicellular and non-photosynthetic. Yeast is the only unicellular member, the rest are multicellular. They live everywhere: air, water, soil, on land, or inside plants and animals. Fungi are heterotrophic organisms. They obtain their nutrients from organic matter or other living organisms by absorption. They reproduce by means of spores. Some of the examples of kingdom fungi are as follows: Puccinia, Albugo, and Stalago are the examples of parasitic fungi. Other fungi are saprophytic and derive nutrition from dead remains of plants and animals. Examples are Mucor, Rhizopus, Yeast, Agaricus, etc. Kingdom Plantae. There are numerous types of species present in the kingdom Plantae. The kingdom Plantae includes all types of eukaryotic, multicellular, photosynthetic plants found on the earth. Plants are autotrophs which make their own food with the help of solar energy. There are very few species which are both autotrophs and heterotrophs. Among the 5 kingdoms, the kingdom Plantae is very important as they are the source of food for all other living creatures. The photosynthetic capability of plants allows all terrestrial members of the animal kingdom to survive. Examples of members of kingdom Plantae are mosses, liverworts, horsetails, ferns, pines, shrubs, and vines. Kingdom Animalia. The major group of living organisms is classified under the kingdom Animalia. All the members of this kingdom are multicellular and eukaryotes. They are heterotrophs as they depend on other organisms directly or indirectly for food. Most of the animals inhabit seas. Fewer are seen in fresh water and even fewer on land. Merits of R. H. Whitaker 5 Kingdom Classification. It is the most accepted system of modern classification as the different groups of animals are placed in a scientific and natural manner. The prokaryotes are placed in a separate kingdom as they differ from all other organisms in their organization. As eukaryotic unicellular organisms are placed under the kingdom Protista, it has solved problem related to the position of organisms like Euglena. Elevation of the group fungi to the status of a kingdom is done in 5 kingdom classification, since fungi totally differ from other primitive eukaryotes like algae and protozoans. The kingdoms Plantae and Animalia are now more homogeneous groups, as it also shows evolutionary relationships among organisms of these kingdoms. The 5 kingdom classification gives a clear indication of the characters which appeared very early in the evolution of life, like cellular organization and modes of nutrition.